Alrighty everyone, welcome back. Happy Wednesday everybody. I hope you're all having an amazing week so far, and given that there's a lot of things going on right now with Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, the board, and how there's a constant shakeup over there at Disney, and why it's really reflecting on Lucasfilm, and the overall roadmap of Star Wars TV shows and movies that are actually on the horizon that are getting fine-tuned, cancelled, and replaced with other projects being greenlit and more. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and let's get right into the subject. Now, one thing about Bob Iger is that yes, we know that he really has made a lot of bad calls. I mean, let's be honest. This guy really was the main problem behind Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel. That basically is now closing by this September. Elemental, The Little Mermaid, and now the latest Indiana Jones 5, and where things are moving forward for Captain Marvel. Now, we know that there's been a lot of problems with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Star Wars, and more, and that it's all on Bob Iger. However, on top of all of this, what's really intriguing has a lot to do with, of course, Indiana Jones 5, the budget mishaps, the drama that's been going on behind the scenes for this movie, and a whole lot more on top of this. Now, with that being said, alright, what's really intriguing about Bob Iger specifically is that he was able to unveil a couple of new truths related to Indiana Jones 5 and the Dial of Destiny, and exactly what it really means for this movie and Kathleen Kennedy. Now, with Bob Iger heavily trying to defend Indy 5, the recent box office fallout has been forcing Iger to lay out new revelations related to the latest film to the fans and community of the franchise. He delivered the following. When we were in early development, we had our goals to mark the film to hold an estimated budget of $200 million. That was originally our limit to what we wanted to invest in for this film. We didn't want to go anywhere above that. However, when Kathy came forward to me and presented all these extra scenes and sequences that they wanted to explore, we were informed that we needed to invest in a far higher budget range to make this film work. This is something myself and many of us here at Disney didn't really endorse at first, but we figured it was the only way possible to produce this Indiana Jones film. Our original strategy was to have many more on-location shots than normal, but we wanted to shoot this thing mainly in studio and to build specific sets that were quite expensive for a film like this. So when we say we didn't expect a lower box office return, we honestly did not foresee this. Let me just say one thing about Bob Iger quick, is that, before I get to the next big thing here, is that Bob Iger is somebody that never truly addresses that it was his fault all along. Look, you can point fingers at Kathleen Kennedy all you want, or you can point fingers at even Bob Iger all you want at the end of the day. What it really boils down to, if you really want to get real, is the Disney board. These are the people that allowed Bob Iger to allow Kathleen Kennedy to allow Lucasfilm to crumble. I mean, it really is a domino effect. So to really get down to the source, you have to get down to the board. The board needs to change. And yeah, I mean, it can be corrected to an extent if you, of course, axe somebody like Bob Iger, get him out of there. Maybe that new CEO will be more lenient with the fans and more controlling over Lucasfilm, and specifically where that would lead. However, we know that there's a lot of things going on right now with Indiana Jones 5. There's a lot of problematic situations arising out of why they needed so much extra, money to make this thing that probably wasn't even really needed. And a lot of that footage, guys, we talked about this, was deleted anyway. And that really just goes to show you that Kathleen Kennedy overly invested in a product that ended up losing so much of its scenes. There were supposed to be, by the way, a lot of extra de-aged scenes featuring Harrison Ford. That got deleted. There were also a lot of other sequences that involved footage of, Harrison Ford in different types of flashbacks, kind of like what you got with Helena, where he wasn't quite as young there. It was going to be more driven in that sense, going back and forth constantly throughout the film, but they wanted to dwindle that down quite sharply. Continuing on, he goes on to elaborate further. We knew those like Kathleen Kennedy, Spielberg, and Mangold didn't want George involved with this project or for him to have any kind of influence on the final film. And we feel that may have been one of our biggest flaws and mistakes going into development with this motion picture. We only hope to do better moving onwards. We are happy with what we did for Haunted Mansion and the Marvels this year, and we expect many of our customers will enjoy those two experiences, and with our up-and-coming Star Wars Ahsoka series for Disney+. We have many great successes on the horizon that we have been so proud of, and we thank everyone for supporting our creators' visions. We advise everyone to check out the latest Indiana Jones film, since Mangold really did do his best with this project of his. Now again, guys, the thing that I really have to really put forward here about Bob Iger is that Bob Iger is really the type of guy that never truly takes accountability. You will notice that he did this with, let's say for example, Galactic Star Cruiser. Basically what he did with that was, oh, we could just take our failure and that concept and apply it to another success. But he never really flat out, fully, genuinely apologizes to the audience, to the park goers, to the people that attended this experience, stuff like that. And not to mention that the fact that they keep raising prices for the parks, for Disney Plus, stuff like that, with absolutely no, sign of remorse or any kind of issues with that. So we know that Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, and the board, these are the main people, the absolute main people to blame about the current state of Star Wars, the current state of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and sure, Kevin Feige has a role in that too, but they're trying to fix elements of the MCU, starting with Deadpool 3, which, by the way, I believe is going to be a game changer. It could very well course correct things if they play things correctly with that. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things going on right now with Bob Iger, too. On the other end of the spectrum is that he is really trying to save his own image, save his own legacy, and to save his own career. So right now, we talked about this too, is that the board has a plan that if the Marvels, Haunted Mansion, and Captain Marvel all fail at the box office, they absolutely are going to fire him by January of 2024. That's when they want him out. That's when they plan to just give him the boot and say, you're out, let's get somebody else, we have candidates available, let's bring them in. And we're not quite sure, by the way, exactly who those candidates really are just yet. We'll be updating you guys as the weeks roll by. But there's a lot of things going on right now with the board. There's a lot of the board members that support Kathy, as well as board members that really, really have a lot of things against Kathleen Kennedy. So it's really like a tug of war over at Disney. It literally is chaos over at Disney, and how it's really kind of reflecting on Lucasfilm. It's sad, but it is a thing that is happening. So guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again. No.